it's really hard for y'all to like discern what's real and what's true, you know? And I've been seeing y'all memes and stuff. People be making memes. I see the memes. I see them now. Some of that stuff is funny. Some of it's funny. But I haven't addressed any of this publicly, but I just want to say this very clearly. I don't have to do with Puffy, so y'all can stop all them memes. I can stop all of that. I ain't been nowhere near no damn freak off. Listen, I do enough of my own. Don't be putting me in other.
For years, the industry's biggest names stood behind a powerful shield, not because the signs were hidden, but because challenging the system carried consequences. Now that protection is breaking, 50 Cent's documentary moves with control and precision, not hype. As scrutiny builds around Diddy and attention turns toward Will Smith, one question grows louder. What was intentionally kept out of sight, guarded by managed narratives and strategic silence to protect power while the full truth stayed just beyond public reach?
You were dating J-Lo. Will Smith and Jada tried to pick her up on a threesome and you were going to beat up Will Smith. Is that true? You really heard that? Nah. What? Yeah, I watched it on the internet. You're telling me I can't believe everything I read?
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
For years, Hollywood operated by an unspoken rule. Stay quiet, stay guarded, let attention move on. But that formula only worked while pressure remained controlled. Now, with 50 Cent's documentary arriving as silence weakens and distraction loses its grip, the landscape is shifting fast. And the message is clear. Standing still is no longer protection, and sidestepping hard questions no longer postpones accountability.
He should have never slapped Chris. I'm not watching the movie. It's not happening.
You don't understand. Do you understand why he slapped Chris? Did you see in that moment from probably what he was dealing with?
What was he dealing with? What the f was he dealing with?
Something made him slap his brother.
No, something didn't make him snap anything. He laughed at that bad joke that Chris said like everybody else. And then Jada looked at him and it was like the Manchurian Candidate.
Not the Manchurian.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just say real thing. Real life street stars. Know what time it is.
Now, I have to ask before we get out, because I don't want to forget it. Your earrings just reminded me of Black Power, Black Excellence, and I just need your take on it because Emancipation comes out in 1 hour. Came out December 9th, which is today's the 9th, right?
That's such a fucking below the belt fucking question.
No, but I just got
It's the only below the belt question that you ask because you already know what's gonna happen. Don't front. We've been down there. Fuck Will Smith.
No, wait.
He can kiss my ass.
Wait.
He should have never slapped Chris. I'm not watching the movie.
Damn it.
It's not happening.
You don't understand. Do you understand why he slapped Chris? Did you see in that moment from probably what he was dealing with?
What was he dealing with?
Shit, I don't know.
What the fuck was he dealing with?
Something made him slap his brother.
No, something didn't make him snap anything. He laughed at that badass joke that Chris said like every fucking body else. And then Jada looked at him and it was like the Manchurian Candidate.
Not the Manchurian. God damn it.
That's what the fuck happened.
I thought there's a legion of women who said, I'm glad for Will fighting for his woman.
Yeah, because they still want to believe that that sham of a fucking marriage is real.
Oh. Well, there you go.
He ain't never gonna be Tupac, and she proved it when she fucked August Alsina.
Ooh, man. Yeah.
They're both bisexual. They do weird things in their house. And young men have left their house fucking screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills. Bashir Gray.
When silence becomes the story, hesitation no longer feels like caution, it feels like cover. In a system built on avoiding accountability, speaking out is never neutral. It disrupts structures that operated without challenge for years. If quiet once signaled control, its collapse raises a harder question. What was that stillness truly protecting all along?
It all started, we was in Atlanta. And this story starts when I'm with Puff and he's in exotic bookstores and he's doing shopping, right? He's shopping, getting his stuff and everything like that. So, you know, this is the first time I was ever in an exotic bookstore with Puff. So, you know, I'm giving him his space. He's taking things off the shelves and stuff like that because they gave him a brown paper bag. When they gave him a brown paper bag, he was just putting stuff in there. So I said, damn, you know, he got to go put it on the counter and, you know, show everybody what he's getting. So as he going, I'm just looking at the places where he picking stuff from. So there's one part he picked up some things from up here on my left side. And then he picked like quite a few of them down. I'm like, okay. He put them in the bag. So when I went by there and I looked up there and it said butt plugs. And I was like, hey, yo, I was messing with him. Because people don't understand, you know, we was like friends. He was a part of the same thing. So I'm still gonna tease him. I'm still gonna mess with him and everything like that. I could do that. It wasn't just no security thing. So I say, yo, what are you getting this for? And it said butt plugs. And he was like, yo, can I do my shopping by myself? I said, yeah, you could do it by yourself, brother. And he started walking and everything like that. So when he got I just waited at the counter. So when he got to the counter, he didn't even have to show the guy nothing. He just gave the guy a wad of money. I mean, like he gave the guy a stack something like this. And Puff wasn't the dude that carried no 20s and no 50s and nothing like that. And I mean, like he just said, boom. And we walked out the store. So we had to leave Atlanta and go to North Carolina for a show. You understand? And it was him, this rapper, Sarah, and this other girl. We all got on a G5 jet, and we flew to G4 jet, and we flew to North Carolina.
What stayed buried wasn't a single moment. It was a pattern where status excused closeness and influence weakened accountability. Scrutiny often stalled at success, turning warning signs into routine. This isn't about claims, it's about culture. When repetition feels normal, urgency fades. Power grows through proximity, and rewarding insiders while pressure builds quietly in the background. In systems like that, nothing is accidental, it's structured.
When they were in the room and they would go in the room with another couple, right? And I've seen some things happen in the jacuzzi. Like when I'm the only one could go to the room 9 times out of 10. When Puff was the one who, you know, was in the presidential suite, I'm the only one allowed. I gotta watch the door. No one can get into that door. I'm the only one that had the pass key or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes you would hear a boom, 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 a thump or whatever the situation is and stuff like that. Yo, what's up? Everything good? And sometimes they would open the door. I'm right there by the door. Sometimes you see things you don't want to see.
Hey, did they ever try to get you involved? Or
Not at all.
Offer you?
Not at all. Puff did it one time, but that's in my book. When he was coming from Dallas, he had the snow bunnies. And I reneged on that. Nah, I'm good.
Hey, did you see any celebrities Puffy did any of that stuff with, the swinger stuff with?
Yeah, I did.
Tell me about that.
I think I told you about that. One time, him and somebody, him, Sarah, and this young girl flew from Atlanta. And they, and flying from Atlanta, we had this artist with us, right? And we were staying in the presidential suite at the hotel. And this particular artist and Puff, they told me, don't let nobody come in the room. So I said, all right, cool. So I propped my chair by the room door.
The closer someone stands to influence, the greater the risk of challenging it too soon. When proximity brings opportunity up front, but consequences emerge later, the issue isn't timing, it's accountability. Who profits while the spotlight shines, and who carries the weight when the story turns?
Movie Emancipation, how the fuck you gonna play in a movie called Emancipation and you can't emancipate yourself?
Ooh. Bars.
Cause you trapped in a hole. My nigga, you trapped in a hole. This bitch clowning you day after day after day after day. And once again, I hate saying these things because their children are dope. But Jaden's kind of MIA. And considering that he emancipated from their household at 16 and refused to come back even to do family interviews. You know?
Yeah.
Willow's just kind of, she's dope. Too much shit happened in that fucking house. Too much shit happened in that fucking house. And meanwhile, I go to jail for defending my child and these niggas don't even get a CPS fucking visit for the kind of shit they kids see. You know?
There you go.
So yeah, I'll watch the movie when, you know, I'll watch Emancipation when he emancipates himself from the hell that he lives in, that he tries to call marriage with that woman who still wished Tupac was alive.
Will Smith's public separation signals a clear shift from extended restraint to deliberate boundary setting. In today's media climate, a denial isn't just a response, it's a marker that the narrative has reached a breaking point. Stated calmly and on record, it establishes distance without fueling escalation. But timing speaks volumes. When distance appears only after silence becomes risky, the harder question remains, what does it truly cost to step forward before discretion turns into liability?
But enjoy the film, buy lots of popcorn. I ain't supporting shit he fucking do. He's a bad representation for black men. He is literally the epitome of a ballless man. I'm sick and tired of people making our black men look weak. I'm sick and tired of that shit because I don't know no nigga that would put up with the shit that bitch done put him through. Now you could justify staying because you ain't want to cut up the money because she would have got the child support and the alimony, but the kids is grown. So if you staying now, it's either because you being blackmailed to stay or you too lazy to go. He housebroken. That don't fit right for a Philly nigga. But he did grow up in Overbrook though. He didn't technically grow up in West Philly. That was Jazzy Jeff's life he was writing about. He lived over there, not far from where Kobe Bryant grew up. That's the other side of City Avenue. He came up Overbrook, you know, so they had big houses and he wasn't at the playground get beat up. That was Jazzy Jeff.
A documentary reshapes the terrain. By assembling scattered moments into a clear, intentional timeline, 50 Cent shifts the focus from speculation to structured record. This isn't about issuing a judgment. It's about reframing the lens, pulling attention back to the questions that were sidestepped and the conversations that quietly disappeared once they became uncomfortable. Next Voice long-form investigation challenges an industry built on short memory, refusing to let narratives fade. When structured records replace quick dismissals, the fight shifts to control. Who shapes the lasting story, and who loses the power to rewrite it once it's set?
I'm gonna get into this Diddy documentary that's been going on, man. It's still #1 as far as I know, man. I mean, I don't know how many millions of times this thing has been streamed, but this thing it's kind of crazy how big this thing actually is, you know, because us that's been following for a really long time, you know, kind of heard a lot of the stuff, man, but people are still going crazy for it, man. So what was your first reaction when you first seen it?
When I first seen it, I said, damn, they stole my whole damn idea. You understand? Because I was talking to the producers, and before I talked to the executive director, and the producers knew, I was telling them what I was bringing to the table. Because I was trying to get a deal for me, Kirk, and Tim all together. Like a package deal. I wanted to try to get like $50,000 for.
Reveals how uneven accountability can be. Some face pressure fast, others stay protected by legacy and influence. The focus on Diddy, with attention also turning toward Will Smith, shows how protection can be built into the system itself. This isn't about coordination, it's about imbalance. And when accountability only moves after silence loses value, one question stands. Can a system that reacts that late ever call itself consistent?
I told them what we was bringing to the table, who was going to tell the story, how they was going to tell their story. You know, I didn't know exactly what they were going to say, but I knew Tim grew up with Puff, so he can get the childhood thing. So I'm going and telling them the whole angle in which I would like for this to go. You know what I'm saying? What we was bringing to the table. I didn't know how they was going to do it, but I was saying, this is what we're going to bring to the table. Tim could start off with the childhood part of it because they grew up together. That's Tim Dog, Tim Patterson. Also, you know, he was the one who was working at Uptown. He was executive over there of A&R and all that other stuff. He went to Island Records. He used to work with over there at Arista, the whole 9 yards. Tim is the one who had the Lost Boys. If you remember the Lost Boys,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Tim was the manager of them. That was his group and everything like that. So Tim had a lot of inside and a lot of stuff to do with Puff. I had a lot of other people I could have brought to the table too. Eddie F, who taught Puff how to work the board and everything like that. Just Eddie F, Heavy D, and the boys DJ. I was gonna try to get Eddie and some other people like that, but it fell through because the lady was telling me what somebody else didn't give me or what somebody else didn't pay me, and she was being disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? I thought she was a white lady. I'm finding out she's a sister.
Silence isn't random, it's rewarded. Access fuels advancement, while resistance risks exclusion. When speaking up costs more than staying aligned, quiet becomes strategy. And if transparency threatens survival, the real question remains, was the system ever meant to be open?
You know, Diddy has a long list of victims. You know, I mean, you got Cassie, Kurt Burrows, Shine, Little Rod, Mark Curry. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The list goes on of all the people who he's did wrong. You know, out of all the people you've heard of, and all the stories that you heard and the stuff that you know about, you know, who do you think is like Diddy's biggest victim?
Who I think Diddy's biggest victim is?
Yep.
The mothers.
Okay.
Big's mama. Wolf's mother. The people that lost their sons. They could never get that back. Especially with those are the two people that changed his life. Put him on that pedestal to be a great producer. So I believe the mothers in them that lost their sons are the biggest victims of it all.
Man, that's deep, man. That's crazy, man. You know, because I mean, you know, you brought up Big and the mom, and in the documentary they even talk about Diddy not paying for the funeral, acting like he's gonna pay it, but then billing it to Biggie. What was your thoughts on that? When you seen that, were you surprised when you seen that?
No, I wasn't surprised, you know, because they said that when Big died, he built the estate. He took it out of Big's his budget. You understand what I'm saying? So I wonder who got the life insurance policy. It was crazy.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.
What I said is that isn't it weird that the government was so interested in Diddy's baby oil that they took 1,000 bottles away from his house? If the government took 1,000 bottles of baby oil and somebody had things what appeared to be baby oil, and then you have to listen to the prosecutor. He said that they seized 1,000 bottles what allegedly to be baby oil. Allegedly to be baby oil. So that's telling people that it wasn't baby oil. And people think that that was baby oil, they out their mind. I don't believe it was baby oil. Yo, bro, when they went up in there, they knew what they was gonna find. They knew what was ever in that baby oil or that those bottles that appeared to be baby oil, they knew about that at first. You gotta realize 9 times out of 10, that individual that got caught at the airport, that was supposed to be their carrier, told them what they was doing and what they had. I wouldn't put him past that he told them everything. So when they went up in there, they knew they had to take whatever was out there, and that thing that appeared to be baby oil, they took that. They gotta test every last one of them. Let's see how much, let's see how many of those come back to be baby oil. Bro, listen to me. Costco don't sell that much baby oil. Where you know sell that much baby oil?
Yeah, I don't know any store that sell that much baby oil. I know Costco, they came out and said that they don't even sell baby oil.
My sentiments exactly.
But you personally, right, what do you believe was in the baby oil?
If you ever seen a massage parlor being raided and they walking out the people, do they take the massage oil with them when they go? No, they just walk out the people who are.
This story doesn't end with a statement or a documentary. It marks the start of a reckoning. What lived in the margins now faces documentation, public memory, and sustained scrutiny. 50 Cent, Diddy, and Will Smith stand in different roles within the same landscape of influence and pressure, exposing how silence once stabilized the structure and how its fracture creates tension. The defining question lingers. When quiet finally breaks, does truth advance, or does the system simply evolve, building new shields to protect itself?